influence decision makers. Thanks for whoever did that recording, I forgot. To influence decision makers in the design and access of utility energy efficiency programs and propose new solutions or programs in an informal context prior to the formal regulatory review process. So we're currently in phase 1. As you see here, we're building the groundwork and we're focused on providing high-level recommendations to the investor-owned utility energy efficiency planning process that's currently underway. So as a reminder, the utility plans are due June 1st. And so this meeting and the next meeting will focus on utility presentations. And then the hope is to, during phase 2, have a permanent low-income working group specifically for energy efficiency in the fall or summer sometime. And then again, just the timeline recap of where we've been. So we started off in January, and then now I've highlighted here in the circle for meetings 4 and 5. We're going to be utilizing this meeting and the next meeting for utility feedback. Again, utilities will provide their presentations before they submit their final plans in the regulatory process on June 1st. So I'm gonna open it up to our utilities. First up is Excel, and I'll have them. So I'll stop sharing my screen. I'll have someone from Excel share their screen to present.
Great, thank you. I'll give it a shot here. And let's see here.
Yeah, I made you co-host just in case you're not able to, Sophia.
Okay.
So let me know if you're able to share your screen.
I will give it a try. Here we go. And let me know if you can see it.
Perfect.
Great. And let me try to do here presentation mode. And if it doesn't, can you see it?
We can see your presentation. I don't see it on presentation mode yet.
Okay. How about now?
I believe so.
Okay. And actually, so my name is Sophia Troutman. I'm the product portfolio manager for some of the multifamily and low income programs, particularly for Minnesota. And actually, Jesse is going to kick it off. And I hope I got your title correctly, Jesse. If I did not, please correct me. So she'll present a couple slides and then I'll take over and I will try to drive here.
Sounds good. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jessie Peterson. I manage the team that's putting together the triennial. So we're super busy right now, but I wanted to step in for just a second to kind of give you an overview of our full portfolio today. We just filed our CIP status report on March 31st, 29th. So we just filed it a couple weeks ago. Seems like just yesterday. We came in at about 648.
Hey, Jessica.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to cut. I don't mean to cut you off. The way the presentation is, I think it's like moving along maybe quicker or yeah, okay. I think there's still some issue with the presentation and how it's set up. So I wonder if Sophia can help us out and see if
I can go back to the agenda. Basically, we're going to go over the current portfolio. Can you see the agenda?
Yeah, so, and there's something in the way. Sorry, Dante, go ahead if you know a little bit more than I do.
You're in presenter mode. So can you if you look at the top there where it says display settings, can you click on that? Because you're in the mode that you would see if you were presenting this and not in like
I see.
Yeah, you see. So maybe that will be what
there we go.
Is that better?
Thanks, Dante. Yes, that's great.
Okay, sorry, Jesse. I will put you back to where you were.
Thanks, y'all.
Better? Thank you, Linda.
Not a problem at all. You would think by now we'd get this figured out, but it's an everyday occurrence, guys. So here we are. So we had lots of achievement in 22. we're quite proud of where we ended up at 2.3%. As everyone knows, there's been some challenges over the last couple of years. So we're not quite as high as what we thought we would be at, but it was actually a pretty good achievement given the challenges that we've had. In 2022, I want to talk a little bit about participants too. We had about 2.1 million electric participants, which is a lot, as well as 683,000 natural gas participants. So lots of people participated, lots of energy savings, and we're pretty excited where we ended up. Coming soon is the updated version of our triennial, as we all know. So we are actively working on what this looks like. Right now, we know that there are some, we know that our goals, our targets are going to be around 2% of electric sales, and 1% of natural gas sales. We're anywhere between 1 and 1.5. We're running cost benefit analyses right now. So we're going to have a better sense of what that looks like once we know all of our programs pass. There's going to be lots of new options in our new triennial. So you'll see an expanded load management effort, additional energy efficient fuel switching or efficient fuel switching, all things allowed by our eco legislation. We also know there's going to be a little bit of some challenges too that we're still trying to work through and see how it looks in our plan. That includes changes in lighting. As we know, ESA has changed the policy and what's energy efficient. And so we'll be taking that into consideration in our new plan. And there's some updated baselines and cooling as well that we're also taking into consideration. So we're actively working on it. We look like we're going to have a lot of good opportunities there, and we're excited to present it in June. Yeah.
Thank you, Jessie. So I'll talk a little bit about specifically the low income spending that we saw in 2022. We exceeded our minimum spending for electric at 111% of the goal, met minimum spending for gas barely, but we exceeded the approved budget for the electric spend. We spent 75% of the approved budget for the gas spend and exceeded the minimum spend for the total low income portfolio, but got to 92% of the approved budget for the low income budget. And so that's gas plus electric. So some of the contributing factors for the gas underspend, lack of program awareness is one of the things that we'll talk a little bit about. Some worker shortages that we faced and continue to face, to be honest with you. Equipment shortages, especially at the beginning of the year. It started to loosen up towards the end of the year. Copay requirement for landlords in various programs, the multifamily and the HES program is still a barrier for participation. And some agencies that utilize our programs were choosing to use alternate funding sources. So that also came into play. In terms of the multifamily programs and where we fell in market rate versus low income spending in 22, about 35% of multifamily spending went to affordable buildings. 42% of electric savings came from affordable units, and 19% of gas spend was for affordable multifamily buildings, and 19% of decatherms came from affordable units. We had some challenges on this end as well. In particular on the gas side, as you can see, many buildings already have some of the low cost measures installed. So those aerators, those shower heads. So even though they're sometimes coming back to participate, some of those measures are already installed. And we are getting some, especially last year, we were getting some, having a hard time having building management move beyond those direct install measures to some of those heavier spend measures, particularly because there's an upfront cost that can be a challenge. They also are experiencing those staff shortages we talked about. And there is an opportunity to improve awareness amongst building managers and building owners. There's some low contractor engagement that we tried to address this year, and we're seeing that improve. This I know is an eye chart, everybody, but wanted to give a quick snapshot of some of the programs that we have that are serving multifamily and low-income customers. And so you can see multifamily building efficiency, multifamily energy savings program, home energy squad, which is a market rate program, but we also offer low-income home energy squad, which is free for people who qualify, and affordable, efficient new home construction. I highlighted some of the things that you might be interested in. For instance, the electric measures offered, lighting, appliances, free appliances for people living in 1 to 4 unit buildings who qualify, lighting and thermostats. Some of the gas measures include weatherization, water heating measures, thermostats, and then you can see some of the qualification in there. I'll go into a little bit more detail in future slides, but it just gives you a snapshot. And so here's some of that same information, but I highlighted in green some of the programs additions that we're considering and some of the changes that we're considering for the next triennial. So for instance, for multifamily building efficiency, you'll see that we're looking at mini splits, pipe insulation, some of those things. For the home energy savings program, we're looking at cold climate air source heat pumps, things like that. And also we've increased bonuses for low-income multifamily building efficiency as of December of last year to match the CenterPoint filing. So that we're going to formally file for in this coming triennial. And we're looking to try to expand that into our nonprofit energy savings program that I'll talk about later. So here's a quick summary of our home energy squad program, which we operate in partnership with CenterPoint Energy. The big thing that we're really focusing on this year and into the triennial is that increased outreach, particularly utilizing some of the data tools that we have to target low-income communities that are not participating at high levels. And so trying to partner with community organizations and just do more outreach in that area. The multifamily building efficiency program, which I mentioned, that one's targeted to building managers and building owners. And that one is going to be split into 2 separate programs. The market rate portion, right now we serve both market rate and low income within the same program, but we really want to do more targeting and be more aggressive to the offerings that we provide low income buildings. And so by splitting out this program into 2, we believe we can better achieve that. And one of the things that we're looking at is more direct install measures for that, because we find better participation when there's less effort from the building managers and building owners to make that happen. The multifamily energy savings program, some of these measures that we currently already provide, like free air conditioners and free refrigerators, we're looking to expand into some other programs. I mentioned the nonprofit energy savings program. That one was approved, but we had not yet launched it formally. We're in the process of contracting, and we expect to kick it off by May of 2023. That's targeting nonprofits serving low-income individuals. I put some examples here: homeless shelters, treatment centers, food banks. We've already been doing food bank distributions, but we're looking to do this at a more regular basis and incorporate it into this program. The workforce development and education program, that is not a low-income program, but it is targeting income qualified and disproportionately impacted individuals. It offers a stipend for participants as well as wraparound services. To date, we have almost 50 participants and 98% of them identified as income qualified. As part of this program, we also offer scholarships for people interested in working in energy efficiency fields. You've heard me already say a couple of times worker shortages in this field, and I'm sure some of you are aware of this. So we're hoping that by offering this program, we can help that situation. We already awarded almost 90 scholarships at 6 different schools, and we're looking to expand the number of scholarships and schools, in particular, moving beyond the metro. This year, there was only 1 school that was outside of the metro, and next year we're looking at, I think, 3 or 4 schools outside of the metro to serve some of those outstate customers. And by the way, some of the workforce development graduates are already working for some of our implementers. So we're very pleased with that program. Just to touch on affordable, efficient new home construction that basically seeks to incentivize builders to provide affordable housing that has high efficient equipment. We are looking to look at participation and reevaluating our current incentives to ensure that they are covering the incremental cost of going from standard equipment to high efficient equipment. Other funded pilots that we thought would be of interest are the electrically heated affordable rental pilot that we're funding. It's targeting electrically heated rentals in multifamily buildings, small multifamily buildings with weatherization and installation of air source heat pumps. We're still recruiting for that in the St. Paul area. And then there's another pilot that we're working on, and that's a storm window pilot that's looking at, again, small multifamily buildings and looking at how swapping out with efficient storm windows will reduce air infiltration and improve energy efficiency and comfort. We recently completed a low income evaluation. We do evaluations on a regular basis, and this was actually a 2-year evaluation because we wanted to see what learnings did we get in the first year that could be implemented, and then evaluate how those updates were performing by the second year so we could continue to optimize. These are not yet finalized, but this is a quick summary of some of the findings. You'll see the programs evaluated there: low-income home energy squad, home energy savings program, and multifamily energy savings program. We are noticing that customers are experiencing challenges. They're confused about how programs work. In particular, participants with English as a second language are having more difficulty understanding the program. But the good news is customers who satisfied who participate are satisfied with the programs. And we heard from both participants and non-participants that they want to hear about the programs via trusted sources, such as community-based organizations, even more from the utility directly. And we also heard about property owners' financial barriers to participate in some weatherization upgrades. We got some recommendations from that on how to improve our communication with customers and funnel some communication through those trusted resources that people are interested in learning about these programs. So we're working on different strategies on how to better communicate with property owners and potentially seeing if we can streamline application processes as well. We took some of those learnings and we invited implementers and interveners, so different organizations, to participate in an Excel Lab customer-focused ideation session that spanned 2 days. I'm not going to get into the detail of it, but we got some great collaboration, some really good learnings, and just a little snapshot. We looked at tenants and residents, we looked at rental property owners, and we looked at Xcel Energy partners as the different types of customers of these programs. And you'll see in those red circles some of the ideas that came out of that. We will be presenting these ideas to the participants, and then figuring out next steps. We were kind of in the process, just wanted to create awareness, and there will be more information coming about that. And that is all that I have at this point. Any questions?
Thank you, Sophia. I'm going to hand it over to Dante. He will prompt some discussion questions on Mentimeter, and then we'll open it up for folks to have open questions as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Let's see if I can share my screen here. I think you have to stop sharing yours, actually. Oh, actually, no, I don't. I can do it myself. So there. Awesome. Hey, friends. Welcome back. Let me turn my camera on so y'all can see me. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Dante Curtis. I am happy to be with y'all again today. This is a tool that we used last time. We're going to use it again. So just to give you a chance to remember how this tool works, or maybe this is your first time. If you look at the top here, you can actually text the Menti to I'm sorry, that's not true. You go to menti.com and type in that number. Or you can use your phone and hover over that QR code at the bottom, and it will bring you up to the same questions that we have here. So if you go to your camera and you don't have to take a picture of the code, but just hover it over your camera, like look at it with your camera, and a link should pop up, and you click on that link and it will take you here. So here's the first question that we have is just overall, what did you think about Excel's presentation? And you only get to do one word here, I believe, 1 or 2 words.
I like that someone mentioned that it seems like they have more questions.
Yeah. Great. Awesome, friends. We're going to move on. And there's about 16 of you have responded, and there are 48 of us here. Please let me know if you are having issues getting on the Mentimeter, and we can help you out here. We're going to move on. So this next one is around what did you like about Excel's presentation? So you have more words you can use here. Yeah, what did you like about it? I'll read some of these out loud just for accessibility reasons. Someone said willingness to shift and try new things. Easy to understand. I appreciate Sophia explaining the definitions and terms. There's a broad scope of alternative. It's comprehensive. Heat pumps in all electric homes. Good explanation of offerings. It wasn't just words on slides. That's some good presentation 101. Honest about barriers and challenges. Someone said, glad to see increased commitment to direct installs. Great way to overcome property management hesitation and get things done, especially around heat pumps. Great. Seems like there's some workarounds here. A couple more friends. I won't read all of these, but I do want to read a couple few more here. They talked openly about the challenges, information, informative data, easy to understand, came away with some new ideas, willing to share what Excel is doing beyond CIP requirements. Examples are workforce development, Excel lab efforts, and the inclusion of CCASHPs. Awesome, friends. Well, here is the moment that we all been waiting for. What questions y'all have? Sophia and Excel friends, feel free to answer these questions they come up. Yeah, so as they start coming in, great. Effort is important. So yeah, friends, so what questions do you have? What else do you want to see? Alrighty, Sophia, we have our first question here.
Sounds good.
Can you see them?
I don't think I can.
Okay, great. It says, what new DI measures are you offering?
Well, we're still evaluating our different measures, but like pipe insulation is one that I can think of. We're looking at the possibility of doing smart thermostats as direct installs for some options, like for instance, common areas in multifamily buildings. We're looking at potentially expanding window air conditioners as direct install for the nonprofit. So it, honestly, it'll depend on what our cost benefits look like, but yeah, just looking at various options. More to come on that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to mark that as answered. Let's see. Great. That was been answered. All right, on to the next one. Let's see here. The question is, what are you doing for renters who property owners don't want to participate? Ooh.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's there are renter kits that we can offer. We do encourage people to try to work with their landlord, but I understand that can be a difficult situation for a renter. The other thing that we're considering doing is, a lot of the times renters are not willing to participate because of the copay. So we're looking for, especially for weatherization, can we reduce the copay? So we're hoping that will help as well. And we're looking at, are there ways that we can assist property owners with financing for energy efficient equipment? There's already a program through Excel that offers that. So we're seeing if we can utilize that or leverage that for some of our multifamily programs, which should help increase property owners' willingness to participate.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much.
Mhm.
Alrighty, we're gonna mark that one as answered as well, and we're on to the next one. How do you plan to address the awareness of your various program offerings? How do you plan to streamline the education and the outreach?
Yeah, so we're already working with our implementers on some partnership with community-based organizations. So they're creating presentations and trying to meet with them to increase awareness. Also, we're working on a door knocking campaign that we're going to test out this summer, really targeting an area of concentrated poverty to see if we can increase that participation, and just really focusing more on cross promotion of our different programs that serve low income and multifamily customers, as well as increasing our budgets for outreach for harder to reach communities. One of the things that we've already been working on has been translating materials, but we're looking to see if there's opportunities to do even more, maybe small videos, things like that. So yeah, those are some of the things that we're doing. And then as for example, with the cross promotion, we've been doing our food bank distributions. Can we cross promote our other programs when we do those food bank distributions?
Yeah. Oh, that's some good stuff. Thank you, Sophia.
Mhm.
We got time for a few more. I see there's 9 in the queue. I don't think we're gonna be able to get to all 9 of these, but the good thing is that you all will have all these questions, and if you want to send some emails out to answer the rest of them after this, you are more than welcome to. That one's been answered. Alrighty. Would be interested in learning how you are incorporating the load management and demand response price into your filing.
So I think that's more of a more to come on that, unless Jesse has more on that.
I'm not sure I'm following the question. Do you mean programs and not price?
All right. I don't know who asked this question.
Yeah.
Whoever asked this question, would you be willing to unmute yourself and give us some more context? All righty. While that's happening, we're going to keep moving. All right.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, it's Lisa with Minn Kota Power. It's a typo. It's supposed to say that low piece instead of price, or programs, to your point, Jessica.
Okay.
Typo when you
That's what it meant.
ask,
Good. It's Monday. It's Monday. We understand.
Exactly. It is funny. We are incorporating both load management and demand response into our low income programs already, and we'll continue to do that. We are trying to expand it a little bit now that we have the ability to do load flexibility, and we're still trying to figure a little bit of that out right now. I think we'll see a little bit in the triennial, and it'll probably be expanded over the years. Good question.
Awesome. Somebody asked, will Excel be presenting on the Excel Labs results outside of today?
We're definitely presenting to the participants, and I'm not opposed to presenting more broadly that information. So we will consider it. Yeah, I know it's super cool, you guys, because it just really looks at that customer focused ideation. So I'm not opposed to it. I think, and by the way, those results or the more detail will be in the presentation that will be sent out on the appendix on the different concepts. But the concepts that we end up going with for the triennial would be included in our triennial filing. And then as we consider other things, they'll be incorporated in our programs in the future.
Thank you so much, Sophia. We're going to mark that was answered as well. And we are moving to the next one. Will green zones be used in all LI programs? Why or why not?
We are using green zones for targeting. We are limited by like our requirements for how we can qualify individuals as income qualified. So for some programs like multifamily programs, we are able to do some geographic qualification as a last resort, but some other programs we cannot yet. So while we can use them to target, it's, we just have to be careful about how we do it. So yes, the short answer is yes for targeting, but we still need to follow the rules in terms of qualification.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we're going to mark that one as answered as well. Let's see here. Somebody said they missed whether Excel is putting funds towards pre-weatherization. Will you be funding pre-weatherization work?
We are already funding pre-weatherization work for home energy savings program. And actually in our research, we found increased participation in spending was facilitated because of the pre-weatherization work in part. For our larger multifamily buildings, we did not see the need. There just wasn't the need to, they don't have the knob and tube and some of the vermiculite and those types of issues in the larger buildings, or at least not as much. So yes, we are using them and we will continue to use pre-weatherization funds.
Awesome. Wonderful. Alrighty, friends. We got time for one more question. We're going to mark this one as answered. And this is going to be our last question in Excel. Are the outstate Minnesota schools your partner will still in your service territory?
Yes.
Yes. All right. I feel like we got to answer one more. That was a quickie. Hold on. One more. All right. Let's see here. No, this seems like it's going to be way more bigger. Do you have programs or customers who don't qualify as low income under the DOE weatherization program, but still should be considered low income as an underserved group?
So for our home energy savings program, we are at 300% of the federal poverty level. So yes, technically, yes, I think that we're serving beyond what would have been served in other programs through that program. Also for low-income home energy squad, we are we basically have participants indicate whether they're low income or not, or whether they qualify or not. So I'm not sure if that answers that question, but hopefully.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, thank y'all so much, Excel. If we get some reactions in the on the Zoom here, some finger snaps. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you
for being here and for presenting and answering all the questions. Arlinda, take it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Dante. That was really a good Q&A portion. So thank you so much. So next presentation will be from Ottertail Power, and I believe John Fabra is going to present. So John, I made you co-host. Let me know if anyone else needs to be a co-host on your side.
Thank you, Arlinda. I am working here on getting my screen shared. I apologize. We work pretty much exclusively with Teams here, and I don't have a lot of experience in this format.
Oh, no worries. Let us know. It should be at the bottom of your screen where it says share screen.
Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you. And selected it, share. So you're probably seeing a PowerPoint right now, I hope.
Yep.
Okay, is it okay if I leave it in this window, or do you want me to open it up into?
Can you make it bigger just for accessibility reasons, please, Sean?
Is that okay?
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you.
Perfect. Thanks,
Okay.
John.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, and I just want to extend a thank you to Excel and the team for the great presentation from them. It's very interesting to see from one utility to another, so certainly appreciate that. And I want to say thank you to Department of Commerce and Fresh Energy and Catch Your Dreams Consulting and everybody else involved in the whole process prior to this meeting to lead us up to us all getting together today. It's something we appreciate and always look forward to exchanging this information. Our team today, we've got a picture of us, some of us anyway, working on a Habitat for Humanity house. That's Habitat for Humanity is something we support through our house therapy low income energy efficiency program here at Otter Tail. And many of us from that team, or a few of us from that team in the picture, are here today. That includes myself, John Faber. I am supervisor of retail energy solutions. That's our department's name. Jason Grenier manages this group. He is here today. Teresa Drexler focuses on our demand response and home energy report programs. She unfortunately was under the weather today and isn't joining us, but we do have Amy Hassling. She plays a key role in implementation of many of our overall residential programs, as well as our low income specific programs. And Anna Roberts is also joining, I believe, virtually from another location. She heads up our program evaluation efforts. So today I'm going to be getting into just some background on Otter Tail Power Company and then talking about our eco portfolio and some low income information specific to that. And then finally concluding with some information on equitable implementation as it relates to this subject. So just to start out with Otter Tail and some background on us and who we serve, we are, I think it's important to note, the second smallest investor-owned utility in the United States. And I think our market portrays that pretty well. We serve about 422 communities throughout Minnesota and the Dakotas. The average population of the communities we serve is about 400 people, so primarily smaller towns. And we serve about 132 customers throughout that service territory. We have a little different makeup of multifamily and renters. According to census data, about 20% of our residential customers are renters versus over 25% statewide, and in the metro area, nearly a third. So a little bit of a difference there as far as it's concerned at Otter Tail. We do business through a number of key values. Those include integrity. Safety is a big one here, as it likely is with many utilities. Safety's become a big part of our internal culture. We kick off every internal meeting with a safety message. Customer focus and rates is another big one. We take pride in customer service, and we provide some of the lowest residential rates in the region and in the nation. Community is very important to us. You'll see in many of these smaller Otter Tail communities, Otter Tail employees serving on city council, school boards, volunteer fire departments, and organizations like that. And then we draw on ingenuity and expertise of various resources to create strategic, balanced, and practical plans here. Getting into now our energy efficiency programs, and specifically some low-income program information from 2022. First of all, our low-income portfolio consists of a couple of key programs, and those are first what we call house therapy. And that's the program that comes to mind when you think of a utility working with the community action agencies, or at least that's how we implement that part of the program. We work closely with 7 community action agencies located throughout our service territory. And it works well because they're also the provider of weatherization assistance program funding and energy assistance program funding. So they can complete the income verification and qualification necessary for our customers to participate in our specific low-income program. And the house therapy program consists of those measures. I'll get into that in more detail, but there's some direct install measures on one level. The next level is weatherization specific for electric homes. And then we get into some appliance measures in the next level of it. For 2022 in house therapy, we had a total of 104 participants. 13 of those were renters, And also new in 2022, we added these home energy reports, and I've got some slides on what those look like and the details of it, but they're a spin-off of sorts of our residential home energy reports program, where we send reports on energy consumption specific to customers of all accounts. And it compares that customer's energy consumption to what we call their neighbors. But for the purposes of the reports, neighbors are basically similar customers with similar sized homes. And we had 10,381 participants in the home energy reports program, with just under 3,000 being renters. I did want to point out that in 2022, with house therapy, although 13 of those participants were renters, which was 12% of participants, we spent 27% of that house therapy budget on renters. So disproportionately higher spending than participation in that program. Our level 1 aspect of house therapy includes those DI measures. And I'm not going to take time to explain every number in this slide, but for the next triennial for ECO, we are proposing a total budget in DI of just over $13,000 and about $2,800 of that budget for renters, with a total participation of 1,380, and just under 300 of those measures at least estimated to be going into rented homes. And I want to point out that for our low income program, it's different than our standard residential sector program where we offer rebates. In our standard residential programs, many DI measures are funded at 100% of costs, and it's the same with our low income program as well. The next part of our program we actually call level 3, but it's primarily our appliance measures that we provide through house therapy. And we typically in the past provided only refrigerators and freezers. In recent years, we started adding expanded appliance choices, including dishwashers, clothes washers, dryers, and we are proposing to add dehumidifiers in the new Eco Triennial as well. These are more expensive measures, and that's reflected in higher budgets of a total of $142,000, with just under $30,000 of that likely going into rented homes. And these again, these are funded at 100% of the installed cost, as much like the DI measures are, whereas we don't do that in our standard residential programs. It's just a small rebate. Level 2 in-house therapy gets into weatherization, both for owned homes and for rented homes. And right now in our eco budget, this is where we've got a line item for the pre-weatherization measures. That's something new with eco. It allows utilities to fund pre-weatherization that was resulting in some customers being turned away for added levels of weatherization that they needed in their homes. For us and our spending requirement and our budgets, we can spend legislatively about $45,000. That's what we've got in the budget now. For the next triennial, we are also pretty excited to be adding cold climate air source heat pumps, both ducted and ductless. And we're excited about that for a few reasons. One, just to bring more of these into homes. We've done some of that in the past in multifamily, but we're curious to see what we can do throughout the rest of the market segments in house therapy. And we're learning that weatherization assistance money is also available for installing cold climate heat pumps, so in all electric homes. So we're not too far along on this one, but as the triennial evolves, we hope to really work closely with those agencies like we already do, and see how we can leverage our rebate funding in in-house therapy along with the weatherization assistance money that's available, and hopefully install more cold climate air source heat pumps in all electric homes than we otherwise would have. And the way we are structuring it now is a rebate at 150% of the level in our market-based home heating and cooling residential eco program. The home energy reports is the second main component of our low-income portfolio. For 2022, and what we're proposing for the next triennial is a total participation of about 8,400 participants, with a budget of 75,000, and we anticipate again about 20% of our participants to be renters. So just under 16,000 of the budget for this program for renters. And in the next slide, in this slide, in the next few, I just wanted to put in some snips from actual home energy reports to show what they look like. It starts out with a chart, a bar chart showing how your home compares. Efficient homes in your neighborhood might be at 395 kilowatt hours. You can see this one is using less, and it's got another bar on similar homes. So this customer is doing great in getting a smiley face and showing them they use 7% less electricity than even efficient homes. The home energy reports then go into some easy upgrades that can be done. The low income focused reports generally provide more information on the lower cost items and behavioral changes. It talks about easy upgrade LED bulbs, refers them to our website for a list of participating retailers in our home lighting upstream incentive program, where these customers can walk into a hardware store or a big box retail and purchase LED bulbs for as little as 99 cents for a 4-pack. And then we've got some tips: reduce your water heater's temperature, set your refrigerator's temperature at the optimum of 38 degrees. Those are a couple of examples. Looking ahead at a higher level into our eco filing, we've got the typical for utilities, breaking our budget up into 3 sectors. The residential is currently at about 2.6 million. Our low income is at 375,000. The note I don't have to go along with that asterisk is that our spending requirement is, I believe, going to be about $319,000. Our commercial and industrial budget right now is about 4.6 million. We are planning to include Pop Solar in our filing. That's a solar incentive program for governments and school districts, basically any publicly owned property. That's at 700,000, and then our program development and regulatory requirements budget is at just under 500,000. A snapshot then into what we are proposing for programs in those sectors. I won't go into great detail in commercial and industrial. Low income, again, we are proposing house therapy with added heat pump rebates and added pre-weatherization, and the home energy reports. I'll get into some detail in coming slides and how we plan to promote those programs. And then on the residential, in the residential sector, we're going to file a home energy management program again and expand on that based on ECO allowing for utilities to do a little more with demand response in their ECO plans. The home appliance program, we plan on filing again. That includes incentives for recycling of old Energy Hog appliances, as well as Energy Star rebates for Energy Star appliances. Home lighting is primarily 3 different components. That's rebates for retrofits and hardwired retrofits and new construction installations. And we are optimistic that we can keep our upstream incentive program through local stores cost effective and offer that again as well, just to make those LED bulbs available and much more affordable for everybody. The home direct install program, I'll talk about that in a little more detail, but that provides DI measures to customers with all electric homes through something we call Home Transformer, and that comes with a free home energy audit. But then we also use that program budget for some targeted outreach for different multifamily buildings throughout our service territory, where we do some assessments. We provide free assessments in those buildings and some direct install work. But the bigger part of that program is we call our school kits, and we work with schools throughout our service territory to provide a lesson plan and direct install kits for students to take home. And we're doing some modifications in those kits right now to try to keep that program cost effective based on reduced savings that we're going to see with the new federal lighting efficiency backstops on LEDs. Home heating and cooling is another residential program that consists primarily of our heat pumps, some weatherization measures, and smart thermostats. That's expanding into quality installs and tune-ups this year on heat pumps, as well as Energy Star central air conditioners and tune-ups on those measures. Our weatherization, we plan to expand to Energy Star windows, and new to ECO that we didn't have, which is something we didn't have in CIP, will be some measures on electrification, including EVs and electric power equipment. So we're pretty excited about that. Our outreach plans and just our residential programs for renters on the single family side, and I think this could work on multifamily as well, but we're excited about a new position we've opened up here. It's a business development job, and that person's role, or part of that person's role, will include direct outreach to various segments of the market. And we think there might be a good fit here for direct outreach to property owners and possibly even renters. And 2024, we think would be a good year to capitalize on the IRA incentives that are going to be available. Those look like they're going to be pretty lucrative, depending on income levels for customers, along with some tax incentives and Otter Tail Power Company's heat pump and weatherization incentives stacked on top of those to probably make the next triennial a better time than ever for many of these customers to upgrade homes and heating systems. On the multifamily side, we currently work with Merck on a partnership to reach multifamily buildings in Merck gas communities and Otter Tail electric communities where the two overlap. It focuses on those buildings with less than 5 units. We offer a discounted audit report and a direct install on the electric side. Otter Tail provides some funding for both of those. And then we've also had a partnership with CEE in the past to target multifamily buildings, both gas and all electric buildings, with assessments and again, direct install measures. And when CEE comes across an income qualified building, they will bring that opportunity to us and to the local community action agency. And we will then talk about some opportunities that we can bring through the different levels of our house therapy program. Specific to low income and house therapy, the house therapy side of our program, we plan on relying heavily on our partnerships with those community action agencies in the next triennial for both single family and multifamily. In our territory anyway, it just seems to be these agencies are the ones that oftentimes get the call from customers, not so much requesting any specific utility program, but just saying, look, we're having troubles, we need help. The community action agency is then able to set up an appointment with that customer, look at their specific home and say, well, there's a number of opportunities and we've got pools of energy assistance funds to draw from, weatherization funds, and Otter Tail's program as well. So we can really optimize those 3 sources of funding and strategically do more in this home than we otherwise would have been able to through these synergies. We also promote that program through bill inserts. We will be using those low-income home energy reports to promote our program, our house therapy program, along with other options like energy assistance, weatherization assistance, and something we recently started at Otter Tail called Uplift. That's to help customers who income qualified customers who are having difficulty with making their bill payments. Habitat for Humanity is another tool that we bring into, or is another segment that we bring into our program. Our title slide, our intro slide, we showed a number of us employees working on a Habitat for Humanity house in Fergus Falls. And we've provided some LED lighting in those homes in the past, along with cold climate air source heat pump installations. And we've also worked in the past with clean energy resource teams on some blitzes specific to manufactured home developments. And we are in discussions with them to do that again in the next triennial. And something else we did in 2022 was promotions of LED bulbs and giveaways of LED bulbs actually through food pantries located throughout our service territory. On the multifamily side, again, we plan to work with the community action agencies. Something we started a couple of years ago was a targeted deep dive in all electric multifamily homes, where we've challenged the agencies that we work with to bring us some opportunities of all electric multifamily buildings. And we've used our house therapy budget then to look at envelope improvements along with installation of cold climate air source heat pumps. So those heat pumps then supplement the electric resistance heating and provide BTUs at a much lower rate and much higher efficiency level for those tenants. And then they also provide much more efficient air conditioning. We've also used bill inserts, and again, those low-income home energy reports we hope to use along with some food pantry promotions, or at least we'll be open to that to reach those multifamily customers as well. On our low-income home energy reports, that side of our low-income program, we are working with our service provider that that puts these reports together for us and mails them, to add a section in the existing report format in a few different, probably the 2 or 3 most common non-English languages in our service territory, to let these recipients know that these reports are available in other languages, and then we can have future reports presented and modified in those languages as requested. So we're pretty excited about that. On equitable implementation, we recognize the importance of DEI here at Otter Tail. We had staff that participated in last year's Department of Commerce Weatherization Assistance Program working groups, where some of us actually led the equity subgroup, or co-led the equity subgroup, I'll say. So I think that was a very good opportunity for us to learn more about this. We've got a letter of support for we provided a letter of support for the White Earth Tribal and Community College on a grant that they've applied for a potential solar technology workforce training program. And we've got plans to support applications from at least one organization for some possible card topics, including residential electrification pathway demonstration in Indigenous communities, rural customer participation in utility efficiency programs. One that I think closely really related to those commerce discussions on weatherization assistance last year was energy efficiency potential of low-income and equity priority communities, and mapping that to help identify the underserved and reach them better. And then deep winter greenhouses is one that applies geographically to a possible project on one of the in one of the tribal communities that we serve. So just to conclude and wrap up before we move into some questions, we just talked a little bit about the company background, our values, where we operate, who we serve, CIP and ECO, some past participation numbers specific to renters and low income, and what we plan to do in the next ECO triennial, and then touched a little bit on DEI in equitable implementation. So that wraps it up. We can sure turn it over to questions and would be happy to talk more.
Thanks, John. That was great. I'll pass it over to Dante for doing a Mentimeter and then opening it up for questions.
Awesome. Thanks, John, so much. So friends, here we go again. This is the same question that we just asked about Excel. Overall, what did you think about OTP's or Otter Tail Power's presentation? If you need the QR code again to participate, you can again hover on that, or go to Minty.com and use the code 4395-3244. What did you think about Otter Tail's Power presentation? Great. I'll give it a few more seconds here. Can we get to 15? Can we get to 15? Alrighty, great. Y'all can see these already. Did this happen? Oh, I must have put that in the wrong spot. Awesome, friends. What did you like about their presentation? If you want to do more long form comments, you can do that. What did you like about it? I'm like, I need to participate. There was a few things I liked myself. Righty, I will show these answers. Their equity information. Stacking of IRA incentives for heat pumps and weatherization. Explain the levels of measures well. Habitat volunteer work, food shelf work. I like the home therapy language. Someone says heat pumps, direct install, habitat for humanity. Like the out of box efforts, partnerships with Habitat, PLP solar program, examples of equitable implementation. Very creative. Love the heat pump idea. We have been working on implementing them into our low income income program as well. And then someone else said very clear explanation of the programs. If I didn't forget any, I don't think I did. Oh, equity strategies and implementation. Critically important, right? I feel like sometimes we always have the strategies, but not the implementation, which is critically important. I see y'all over there. All righty, we're gonna move on, friends, now to oh, whoa, what happened? No, that's no. What? Hold on, friends. What happened to this? Oh no. Hold on. I don't know what happened. Why didn't we let's see. Hold on, friends.
Okay, you'll get it.
Yeah, just one quick adjustment here. I'm like, why didn't we do this? Oh, you know what happened? I bet I know what happened. Because I duplicated the slide, it just duplicated the slide.
Ah, I see.
Interesting. Don't you worry. All right, friends. So give me 1 second. We're gonna see this questions for OTP and go to present. All righty.
Perfect.
Oh no, that's not right.
Ah, it's still doing that, huh?
Yeah, why? Yeah, that's not. Yeah. Okay, I guess you can only do one question at a time. All right, friends. While I'm getting myself over here situated, do anyone have any questions for Artatil? If you want to unmute yourself and verbalize them, while I get myself together over here.
Yeah, so I'll monitor that. If folks have any questions, you can use the raise hand reaction, or you can unmute yourself, or you can put it in the chat and I can facilitate that. Don't see any questions come. Oh, Anjali.
So you got one.
Yeah, this is a great presentation, John. Wondering, you mentioned the 100% of its installed cost is being covered in some of these programs. Does that include the cost of the item plus labor, or is it kind of the full cost of the whole project, or is there something missing from there?
For the most part, or in-house therapy, it is the cost of the measure and the installation labor. And in the case of the deep dives in the multifamilies, there's an admin allowance for those CAP agencies to manage that project too. It can be quite a bit to take a couple sixplexes or an eightplex building and get contractor bids and manage the construction process and the installation process. So there's something to compensate them as well.
Thanks, Anjali, for that question. Anyone else? We'll give Dante another minute or so.
Yeah, thanks.
But yeah, again, if you have any questions right now, and you can type that in the chat, or you can raise your hand like Anjali did and unmute yourself. Oh, Anjali, do you have another question?
I do. I just want to see if someone else had
Got
a
it.
question before me. So John, I believe on the home energy report budget, it said 75,000 for that program. And I was wondering if most of that cost is like paper materials or analysis. Just curious about that.
I don't manage that specific program. I believe it is. Jason's in here. He manages the overall department, so he's got a better read on that. But
yeah, that's correct. The printing and the mailing is the biggest cost there.
he verified that printing and mailing is the largest cost for that program.
Some database analysis, that kind of thing from Full Power.
Thanks, friends. Alrighty, friends, we are back on the Mentimeter. So you should see this on your Mentimeter options now. If you want to put any questions here, you can do that. I just found out today that when you do question and answer, it don't matter how many question and answer sides you got, they're all going to go together. So what are some questions you have for Otter Tail Power?
So it looks like there is one question that I have in the chat from Sophia, so I can read that out loud for John. How do you promote your programs to the community action or CAP agencies?
It's a good question, and Amy's largely involved in that and does a very nice job. We meet with them once a year. We've had relationships with them and contracts with them to implement the house therapy program really since it started, which was even before my time at Otter Tail. So we meet with them once a year. We get contracts renewed with them, I believe, annually, and we've got quarterly calls going out to them as well.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Alrighty, we have one question here. Oh, just kidding, we have two questions. Oh, this is really good. What non-English languages are y'all considering, John? Continue.
Based on the communities we serve, I think those that would most benefit from it best would be the Somali community and Spanish communities, Mexican communities in some of our towns.
Yeah. Great. Another question that has come up is, did the CAP agency have any issues with adding of the CCASHP and mini splits?
As far as the rebate measures that we're proposing, I'm not sure yet. It's still fairly new that came out, I believe, about weatherization assistance program funding being available for those. So I think there's a little bit of uncertainty out there right now in the agencies, but fortunately we've got some time before the triennial. To date on those multifamily projects, we haven't really seen any issues. They've been happy to bring those projects to us and happy to engage on making sure that the equipment meets Energy Star efficiency levels. So it's gone fairly well.
Wonderful. This is a great question. John, someone said, wow, do you have any openings? Sounds like a great team. Like you got some folks ready to go put some work in. Any job openings at Otter?
There are.
Check the website.
Yep, you can always check our website under employment opportunities. That's great to hear. And it is a great team. I can say that from 25 years here without leaving them. Great place to work.
Yeah, that's amazing. Awesome. Another question we have here is, to what extent do you think the proposed LI budget will meet demand? Examples is, do the CAP agencies have waiting lists?
I think to answer that, I would have to say yes, the CAP agencies have waiting lists. And from talking to the CAPs at our last meeting this winter, they do have some concerns with their staffing levels, unfortunately. Will the low income budget meet the demand? The concern from the CAPs I gathered is that there's a lot of funding out there to try to get distributed. I think they've got some concerns on it. I'm encouraged that they are the people in the homes and the experts on what needs to be done and what funds to draw from. So that does help a lot. I'm also encouraged that pre-weatherization funding should help. I think there's some pre-weatherization opportunities in the weatherization assistance program that should help and hopefully eliminate some of these deferrals. We learned a lot about that through the weatherization assistance program working group last winter, and I think it'll only push everything in the right direction. I'll say that.
Wonderful. Well, are there any other questions before we conclude our time with Otter Tail Power this afternoon? You can either put it in the Zoom chat, or if you want to submitted on the Mentimeter, you can do that as well. Any final questions? I'll give it about 30 seconds here. I know there might be some people who are take a little longer to process or formulate questions. So give you about 30 seconds to collect your thoughts, if you have any.
I do see one that just came in. What if we have questions for Excel that we didn't get to?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we will share this with Excel. And I guess that's a good question. Anjali, any thoughts? I know we're going to share this, but are we expecting Excel to answer these questions and get them back to us, or?
Yeah, I think because we were able to get these questions down, we can follow up with the Excel team and get some responses and then send those out to participants as well.
Great. Awesome. Thank you, Stacy. All righty. Hey, John, and the rest of the team, thank y'all so much. I'm going to kick this back over to our Linda, and we're going to get y'all out of here early on time for the first time of 4. So Linda, take us away.
Yeah, sure. I just have a closing slide to share with everyone in case you do have more questions. So just a second. Let me put up my screen.
Y'all back some of y'all time today.
Okay. So just close out what to expect, like Anjali and we just mentioned Dante too. We'll share a follow-up email with today's slides and recording along with Excel questions and answers to the questions that folks had that we did not get to today. Additional comments are welcomed after today's meeting too. And just as a reminder as well, we are putting together informal comments that we will be submitting to the investor-owned utilities and we're welcoming comments until April 19th, by the end of April 19th. So if you have any additional comments from the first 3 meetings where we reviewed major themes that were developed for meetings 1 and 2, and then we did a deep dive of some subtopics like weatherization and financial incentives and fuel switching. So if you have some more comments to those from those meetings, please submit those to us by April 19th. And then the save the date for meeting number 5. I forgot to update the slide, but the meeting on April 25th is until 5 p.m. So 3 until 5 p.m. because we have 3 utilities presenting at that time. So it's going to be a little bit longer just to give everyone an ample amount of opportunity to present. And then for any other questions or comments after this meeting, please email Laura, and that's her email address, or Anjali as well. And that's her email address at Fresh Energy. And that's it for today. So again, we'll have these, we'll share the recording to this and presentation after this meeting. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, friends. Have a great week.